franchise that's in Kansas City for football. He couldn't have told you it was the Chiefs until he got his service dog. You know, so he, you know, again, like I said, he Facebooked me, and he wanted to know about Phil's, what he thought about first. What do you think he thinks about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? Like, first of all, he knows nothing about the Chiefs. He only knows of Travis Kelce because his service dog is named after Travis Kelce. And Taylor Swift came out after 1979. I don't even know if he even knows who Taylor Swift is either. And if he does, he's probably never heard a song of hers. But yeah, I don't think he could pick her up on our lineup either. So Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, the Phil Krajewski, is like trying to learn a foreign language, open up the book and just trying to read it. That's Phil. He doesn't have a clue. He could probably name the New England Patriots as a team. I don't even know, and he lives in New England, and I don't know if he could actually name that. But yes, that's the only team I think he could name out of a football team. He doesn't know who Taylor Swift is. Like I said, I don't think he knows a band that came after 1979, 1980. For the guy that he had, like I said, he'd asked me, what do you think? He doesn't know anything. Phil.
Moved on with my life.
Yeah.
That was it. I know what I'm willing to pay for something.
Right.
And that guy did too, but he could have said, hey, could you do 65? And then when you said no,
right.
What could you do? What's the best you could do?
Right.
What's the best you could do?
James Marston,
you know?
Charisma Carpenter,
but yeah, but to come in and say, I'll only do this. Well, you've already lost out,
right?
Because now you're telling me what you're going to do. That's not gonna happen. You know, it's yeah. And the worst is when people do it when there's a lot of people in the store.
Oh, really?
Right. Well, you know, because they, hey. Will you do 75 on this book here? So what? Then everyone else? No. You come up here and talk. You know, don't just announce it. You know, it's.
I feel like you're attacking me. I think I've done that. I'm just kidding. I don't have $75.
Yeah, James.
But yeah, that's you get people like that out there. They remind me of sports cards. A lot of sports card people are always like that.
Are they worse than the comic people?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Do you think they're just doing it to try and? Because it's busy?
No. They do it because they remember what it was like to be in the flea market days when that's where all you got sports cards and you know. But you'll get people like
He left the show before the end of it.
What can you do for me on this box? Nothing. Yeah, you know, it's
And to be honest, I'm going to interrupt myself. Are we have another Daredevil #1?
Yes, the last one was ended the series.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
New writer. He needed a new #1, I guess.
I don't even think I've started reading the last one yet. I have all the issues. But what I was going to say was that I definitely know that for myself. I wouldn't say this is flea market yard sale, but I know there's room to negotiate on certain things like wall books and ask. It's but making demands or this or that. I mean, I would say it also doesn't hurt to ask. If somebody said, "Hey, that's 90. What could you do on that?"
Right.
Yeah,
but you know, sports cards and stuff.
Yeah.
Is the smallest markup on boxes.
So that's the other thing. It comes down to the margins. What's the margins on things? I mean, someone who knows comic books, I don't know what you pay for those, and those are brand new. You get somebody's collection, you paid 25% or 30%. You've marked it up. We know there's some wiggle room there. I know that, you know that, so it's always worth at least asking there. But it's not something in cellophane.
But it's not like someone coming in,
or new weekly books as well.
Right. Yeah, you got a Hulk 181 there. Why do you expect that to be discounted? I mean, anyone in the world, you could sell it at this price every single day.
Right.
What made this person special that you're going to give them $300 discount on it? It's because that's something like it's like back in the day in the 90s, I had a Black Lotus in here from Magic.
Yeah.
The rarest card in the whole thing
right.
is $450. Things are going for like $10,000 now, but it's $450. A guy comes and goes, nah, I won't pay. I can't pay more than like $300, $325 for it. It's some lower number, right? I said, that's all right. He goes, you won't sell it to me? I go, no. I go, that's the most sought after card in the whole game. Why would I mark it down? It's
right.
I go, it hasn't even been the case that long. Why would I mark it down? No one's going to pay $450 for it. Eddie babbled off and then walked out the door, right? And it's like, good, just go. He came in like 3 days later. Hey, I'll pay the $450 for it. It was already gone. It was gone that day after he left. It was gone. It was only in the case for like 3 days, and it was
right.
And it was gone. It's like, no. Why are you gonna mark it? You're gonna get what you want for it. It's
right.
So.
But you brought up Hulk 181. Now, did you bring that up on purpose because we talked about it last week?
No, Hulk 181.
Because that was a story at Jason's place.
Oh yeah.
He came down quite a bit on it. Was it because I was there? Was it because he could turn around a fast sale? Was it because I know he already told me what he paid for the whole collection?
Right.
All he needed to do was sell the Hulk #1, and he would have made almost all his money back. Right. Everything else selling Hulk 181 to me was all profit at that point. But he didn't have to.
Right.
That book goes for all day long. He could have got that on eBay or anything. He has an eBay store.
Yep.
But I did ask him. He went for it. I even told him to think about it. And he said, no, I want to do it.
Some days rents due.
Some days rents due. That's in the mall. That's a tough spot. He's
Yep.
not selling weekly books, so he's not getting regular people coming in every single week. He also knows maybe I'll buy bigger stuff later because I've already bought stuff from him.
Right.
And he always gives some type of discount.
Yep.
But on some things he just might say no, and that's the end of that story.
Right.
So
no, I didn't use 181 for that. That was just
funny that we were just
because I just talked about Hulk 181 earlier with something that book was just still in my. But when I think of a hot key title that a lot of people want, Hulk 181 is that expensive one. That everyone that usually comes with it would love to have a Hulk 181.
So that's the other thing is that he did do that, but he didn't have to. That's on the every YouTuber comic guy's list of. They'll always a list of top 5 or top 10 or top 30 books that never stay in their store. It will sell as soon as they put it up in there. Hulk 181's always on that list, and it is, and that's because there's a million of them, but it still doesn't go down in value.
Yeah, I think if the next Hulk 181 I get in the store. They won't. They don't even. I've got a list of people. They're not even going to get on the wall. I've got to make 12 phone calls. Right.
Hulk #1, X-Men #1, Hulk 181, first 10 Daredevils. He just calls all his people, and that's what he told me. He goes, I've already got guys coming in to look at everything. I just happen to be lucky the guy before me didn't want the 181.
Right.
Because I told you that guy was collecting only anything 9.4s and higher.
Yeah.
So I don't even know why he came in, but maybe he wanted to see what it was there. Maybe it was just cool for him to sit and review the box, that came in.
Yeah.
I went in the other day because I wanted to see what the rest of his collection is. Again, I can't get that second mortgage to buy that Hulk #1, but
wife won't allow you to do that.
I said jokingly, I was like, I sell one of my cars and to home equity loan, and it's an investment forever. And she was like, no. There was no Hulk #1 in my future. Yeah. And I know he would have done it. Well, so he was asking the price right off the bat. That was a slabbed price. This wasn't slabbed, and he was making his guess, and he overestimates on everything, as most people do. I can't grade well enough. So he wanted $30,000 for it. He was guessing it was a 4.5 or a 5. I can get that on eBay for buy it now price it on slabbed for $30,000. So I know he would have gone closer to 20-something grand. But that was a fantasy. If anything, I would have loved some of his, the Daredevil stuff.
Yeah.
I would have taken it. You can get a Daredevil at a decent price. But that's what it is. And that's for me with collecting, especially now buying some of the higher end stuff and talking to these dealers who get this stuff in, or I'm on the list of somebody to call or text, is $30,000 for Hulk #1, or do I take $30,000 or $20,000 and split it between all the rest of the books he had? A lower grade X-Men #1, a Daredevil 1 through 10, whatever it was. Now you got a bunch of books. You slap those and you probably almost double what you paid right there. Then it becomes more of an investment than it becomes collecting and having fun. But I'm on that line.
You just read it before you read it before you slab it. So at least you read it.
I'm definitely in the camp of terrified to touch something. I just picked up a Mickey Mouse comic book magazine from 1938. It was a New Year's issue, so it came out in 37, but it came out in 38. And it came, and I would love to open that and look, and I'm like, what if I accidentally drop it? What if
bring it here? I'll open it for you. I got no problem. I've got no problem. Yeah.
I don't know how. I haven't got on your list of people to call when good books come in, but I'm hoping to hint here that I want to get on that list.
I get the hint.
He didn't say you were going to be on the list. He just said he got the hint.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, I get the hint. Yeah, I get the hint.
21 years is someday I'm going to get on that list of things.
Well, I mean, I've probably had, for some of these guys, I've probably had them on the list for 20 years. Some stuff just never comes in.
Yep.
I've had in 30 years here, I've only had one Hulk #1 come through the door.
Yeah.
I think I've only had one Journey into Mystery 82.
Yeah.
And I've
2 or 83?
80. Yeah, it's one of them. The Thor.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've actually only had one Avengers #4 ever come through.
Yeah.
But I've had 3 or 4 Amazing Fantasy 15s come through, like 5 or 6 Amazing
Because there's
Spider-Man
no
1s.
shortage of those, and we talked about that. When you start looking at the number of Amazing Fantasies, that is not a rare book at all. There's some, even on the CGC census, I'm going to make up a number, but there's like 4,000 of them or 6,000 of them on the CGC census. There's no shortage of that book. So I'm not surprised by that, especially with how fast Spider-Man got big. Because remember, Amazing Fantasy 15 came out, so with Spider-Man, went through the roof, and the next month they had Spider-Man #1. They knew exactly what they had. Something like a Thor and Journey into Mystery, who was even buying that book and paying attention to it?
Right.
You know, it took a long time before Thor even got his own book. It was still Journey into Mystery for another 20, 30, 40 issues or something like that. So I could see there being.
I've always
less
had
of
an
those.
Iron Man #1s. I've had more.
I bought my Iron Man #1 from you.
Did you? Yeah.
Let you know what it's gonna grade at when I get it slabbed soon.
I've had a bazillion X-Men, giant size X-Men 1s. Giant size X-Men. I've had a bazillion of them come in through over time. Not as much now lately, though. You know, it's but before everyone was just grading and selling themselves on eBay and stuff. You got them all the time. You know, it's
So that's funny you even say that. I'm watching multiple on eBay giant size X-Men. As a matter of fact, it's probably right there on my eBay, right there on my watch list camera. I'm watching that. He's got a 6.0 for 2,300, and it's the best make an offer. So he'd go 2. That book's stalling out, especially which is to my advantage, because there's a million of them. You scroll through, there's a million of them on there. But that's also a book that has a weird. I think we were talking about this before. It's got this weird. We talk about a ceiling on things, like it's never going to go over this value. But this is one of those books that's got a floor. There's people selling a 1.5 for $2,000, and there's people selling a 4.5 for $2,000, and there's people selling a 6 for $2,000. And you look at the sold history, and they're still getting them. People might, make an offer, but it's still around there. It's like you can throw a piece of shit 0.5, and you're still getting $1,000 for that book. It's got no floor. You know what I mean? It's like there's a ceiling there where it's going to hit, but it's like it doesn't matter. As long as it says giant size X-Men on it, you're always going to get $1,000 for it. It just doesn't matter what condition it is. It's weird. So I wish you called me for one of those. I would have taken some of those.
And that's something. I've had them I've actually had them sitting on the wall for a time. It's not anymore, but
No.
I used to. It's so yeah. But there's some things you get a lot of, and there's some things you hardly ever see. I mean, I've sold several Hulk 181s. I mean, they've come through. Even Punisher, a ton of them came through, especially early on in the '90s and early 2000s. You got them all the time.
Yeah.
It's
right. Again, another one, ASM 129. There's no shortage of. They were making 80,000 of them a month. There's some percentage of them are going to stick around. That's just not a rare book. But it's always in demand. It'll always, at this point, will always fly off that shelf.
Oh yeah.
If I came in and you had either of those books, I'd just buy it. I put it on my credit card. I don't have any money, but I would find a way. I'd start collecting cans.
No, I did not.
It was on film.
Discretion was the better part of valor on it.
I don't know. I really wanted to hear the story of how it worked.
I did mention it to her.
Like I said,
I mentioned to her what we talked about.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me and she gave me that half smile and just shook her head.
Yeah, like I said, I'm okay to play the heel. You could have said,
Oh, I blamed you.
Glenn made me do this.
Told me
to do this.
Glenn said, if you don't do this, you'll have to, I don't know.
You're not allowed back in the store. You're not coming in. You never get comics ever again.
No. Then she definitely not let me do it.
Okay.
Yeah, no. We're not going that way.
All right.
Out of all the ways it could go, that would be the worst. Yeah, if she came out and said, "Oh yeah, you're not going to the comic book store anymore," I'm like,
she'd be happy. She'd be happy for that.
Oh, she'd be thrilled.
Oh, really?
Oh, she'd be thrilled.
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah, to her they're dust collectors.
See, again,
I'm like, just keep your hands off my stuff.
you probably put them in a box when they're done, right?
They're all boxed up.
So they don't collect any dust.
They don't collect any dust.
Right. They're boxed up.
And they're downstairs in what is my room.
So
You know, it has my pops and everything else,
Yeah.
and that's my
So
stuff.
let's go back.
It's not in anybody's
So
way.
we'll go back to the original conversation then. As a loving wife, she should at least fake.
Let me try that.
Right.
part. Let me start off with as a loving wife.
Right.
And
You should
that's
at
what I
least
get from it.
fake liking something that I like.
Yeah.
Be remotely, just act like you're remotely interested, or like, oh, I'm glad you had a good 20 minutes of hanging around with the guys at the comic shop. I'm glad that I'm happy for you, and she should be happy that you're buying your comics and you're reading your comics. You're not doing anything else bad in the world,
Right.
you know,
It's not
right?
like I'm buying crack or anything on the street
And you come home
corner.
to read your comics too, right?
Right.
So at that point, she should actually be happy. That's what she's as a loving wife, because again, like I said, you go along with things that you probably don't give two
I know
craps
what
about.
you're talking about.
Right. I know. Because if she happens to watch the episode, I know you love everything that she does. But like most humans, all right, there's stuff that their wife likes or whatever, or the other spouse, and you just go, oh, that's nice, and you listen to what they have to say because it excites them, right? But really deep down, you could care less, or the other people could care less, not you.
Hypothetically.
Right.
Yes.
Hypothetically, you can just care less. Well, I think there needs to be some reciprocation, you know, right, where she's like, you want to babble about, you know, the new Red Sonja book come out. Well, don't do that one because you're gonna say, what, you're looking at half-naked ladies, you know. But the new Avengers book comes out. You're like, oh my God, this new Avengers Inc. book was really good. They totally different than a regular Avengers book. I mean, I'm actually looking for this. And she's gonna go, oh yeah, that's nice, that's good, and then be gone. Even if she just didn't even listen to what was going, it didn't register, she should still be supportive.
I appreciate that, and I'm going to try that. I'm going to mention it to her.
As a loving wife, start off as that.
Yeah, as a loving wife. Glenn said.
Right.
Let's see how far. I think once I say Glenn said, I think that'll be the end. I think she'll just shut me off from there. So, yeah, if I just go as a loving wife, if I just skip the Glenn part, unless she says, you know, then she gives me a hard time, then I was like, well, Glenn told me to say that.
Right.
It wasn't anything that I meant to say.
I'm okay. Don't start off as Glenn says.
Yeah.
Because she's gonna already think, all right, there's something messed up here because this guy's loopy. Yeah. You know, right? You say, no, as a loving wife, you should do this, and if she gets like, really, you think, or you know, like, really, where did that come across your mind? Say, well, I was talking with Glenn. Right. So, like I said, you can blame me. I'm okay to be the heel.
Okay.
I'm okay to play the heel.
I'll work that angle then. I'll see what happens.
Right. Try to do it without me, because maybe you'll get something.
Maybe.
And then, but if she gets angry or she starts getting on the defensive, well, you know, Glenn was just saying. Or Glenn said. You know.
And you know what I think of Glenn and his wise words.
Right.
I would never take anything that you would say to me as anything that would be malicious.
Right.
Anything that you tell me is something that I look at as almost the word of God.
Right. Well, you know something, because I'm a benevolent God.
You are.
Right. I would not try to get my flock in trouble.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So. Yeah. Right. So I'm not doing it maliciously.
No.
Right.
No. I would never. I would never assume that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, too much fun.
Shorted. So yeah. So it's coming. It could be in next week too. So when you come in every 2 weeks, it'll be back in by the time you come.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I just ordered that one. I ordered a bunch of cover A's, and you ordered like cover B.
Yeah.
I only ordered the one cover B, so it was. So I says, well, I didn't get it. I don't remember what book I got. I got the. It's funny. I got the right amount of books. I was supposed to have 852 pieces. Well, they're right. They just were the wrong pieces. You know, it's So
you didn't say you wanted the 852 of the right pieces.
Right.
Yeah, you just said you wanted 852 pieces.
Yes.
So they just randomly pick stuff off and throw it in the box.
Well, what I think is when they realize that they're short on something, they go, well, grab this and we'll just throw it in.
The difference.
Yeah,
but they don't know who they're dealing with.
Right. I actually go through my list and see what's going on. I don't remember what it was I even got, but it says I don't need one of these. Yeah, It's yeah.
Well, you have one.
Yeah.
whether you want it or not.
Sometimes it's stuff I didn't even order. You know, it's like I'll get something. So like if I go through the book first, I go, I didn't even order this book.
Yeah.
I know I'm missing something somewhere.
So do you keep those or do you send them back?
It depends on what they do.
Yeah.
I report it as an overage.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll send a call tag back for something. Other times they won't. Most of the time, if it's just one $4.99 comic, they don't because it's not worth.
Right.
They're going to lose money by having it shipped back. But sometimes it's a hardcover book. You didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I got an omnibus book once, $100 book. I didn't order it. I reported that they did a call tag on that.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I hold it. I told it to the end of the month at least because if I have damages. Most of the times they won't ask for the damages back. Sometimes they do because they want to make sure that people aren't lying, right? Once a month they'll send you a damage report, and once in a while you have a call tag on it. Other times it says just destroy them.
Yeah.
Same thing with the overages. So I'll hold it, and then when I don't get it, I just throw it on the shelf. It's so sometimes it depends on what it is you keep it. Or sometimes they'll tell you right away, just keep it. We're not asking for it back. It's. But I know when I get something, when I'm counting something up, and it's something I didn't order, I know something's missing I know there's something else missing in my box. It
right. So you notice when you're short, I don't know, like 10 Immortal Sergeant books, then they should have been in there.
The world would be good if you were short 10 Immortal Sergeant books.
I just looked at the cover of that, and I'm like, how can anybody read this thing?
Yeah.
Is it as bad on the inside as it is on the outside?
Oh, it's worse. It's worse. It's some of the worst art I've ever seen in my life. I rag on a lot of artwork stuff.
Yeah.
Better than anything that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a
Junior
crow.
can be there. It's.
I'm like a crow with a book. If it's shiny on the inside, it's usually pretty good. If it's not, then I'm like, this is crap. Regardless of how good the story is, if I can't get past the artwork, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I won't waste my time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll look at crappy artwork if it's something I was interested in for the story, or if it's a character I like, but I mean, that's an independent book. But if there was something that was interested, I would probably try with the crappy artwork. And if the story is fabulous, I can deal with the artwork. I'll just more read the story and not really pay attention. Like Department of Truth I really liked.
Yeah.
But Department of Truth, there was so much black in it, half the time you couldn't even tell who was talking.
That's Tynan,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Tynan. But I don't remember Simmons, I think it was Simmons or Simons or something. I think he did the artwork.
Yeah.
But yes, it was Tynan the Fourth. Get that right.
Yes. Well, I know, because House of Slaughter is just Tynan.
Right.
So maybe the book isn't as good.
I think that's an uncle or something. Yeah. It's not the same
It's
guy.
a distant relative.
Yeah.
It's not really him. It's not really him.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that Immortal Sergeant was impossible to look at. It was the cover didn't look. I don't know. Someone got paid.
Yeah.
It's.
I saw it on the New This Week video that we just ragging all over it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's to the point now where I don't know. It may be over now, but I just started ordering. It's to the point where I just ordered one for one customer.
I think it's in trade paperback now.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a trade for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in here. If you want it, I'll order it for you. Right. You want me to order you one?
No.
You should show it to your wife. She may like it.
How do you read this?
You show that to your wife, she's never gonna let you buy a comic book. She goes, "This is what you're wasting your money on."
God,
yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna go with that. That would probably be unwise.
And if she says, I don't want you reading, you can't read comics, says, you don't control me.
But let me try that. Let me try that one.
Hey, you don't control me.
Yeah. I'll try that one too.
Yeah.
So, did you get a chance to read this? I don't know. I know you don't do DC.
Yeah, and I have no interest in Power Girl, to be honest with you. Why? Was it any good? Was it? Yeah.
Captain America was good too.
Yeah, Captain America was
I was very happy with. But it's Straczynski, so.
Right.
I mean, can you really go wrong with Straczynski?
Most of the time, no. Amazing Spider-Man, you could, though.
Oh, really?
I think that was one of the worst Amazing Spider-Man runs I've ever read.
Really?
Started off with probably the best story, one of the best stories I've read, with Morlun. He started off with Morlun. I actually thought they were going to kill him. I mean, even though they never announced or anything, it was written so well. And after the first story arc, it just went downhill. It was to the point with the 5 or 6 years that he wrote the damn book that I got stuck with. I'd pick up the first part of the first story arc, start to read it. If I felt it was crap, I just skimmed the other stuff, and then I went to the last part to just see how it ended. It's and I don't think out of his whole run I may have read 3 full story arcs out of his whole run of it. Yeah, I did not like. I think that's probably one of the worst things he's ever written.
Really,
was Amazing Spider-Man.
Everything I've read by him, I've liked.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Madness.
I haven't read
by
that.
AWA.
I haven't read that one.
Not a big fan. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But I'm just not into it. You know, it's I got a couple other guys that come in that love it. They say, "Oh, this is great. Still great Straczynski work." So I don't know. It's just that the Madness just wasn't for me. I
think it was Midnight Nation he did for Image.
Yep.
A while back. That was really
good.
I
like that too.
But he had Greg Land doing artwork too.
Yeah,
so,
and I love his
you
artwork.
can't go wrong with Greg Land.
No. But I didn't like Rising Stars.
I didn't read that.
Yeah, that was before Midnight Nation.
Oh,
he did,
okay.
I think. Yeah, I didn't like Rising Stars. But he did a few Image books. He did a few Image books for a while. It's one of the books started off with Marvel, and then it never came out again. And when it came up under Image, under his own thing, Joe's Comics or whatever it was, right? Yep. Dream Police. What a great book! I wish that thing continued,
awesome.
Right?
Yeah, that was a great book.
It started off with Marvel at one point, and
really?
Well, I read issue 1 of Dream Police and go, this book is familiar. Like when it was coming out, I've read this before.
Yeah.
And then I got a collection. I was going through the 50. I got a bunch of 50-cent stuff. Started putting the stuff in the 50-cent box, and I look and says, huh. And I open up, started looking, and says, this is like the first issue of Dream Police. Few things was changed, but it was the same book.
Really?
So yeah, but it was like 3 or 4 years earlier, and the rest just never came out. You know, it's are we in your way?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. So it was, but
You never talked to me that nicely.
Well, you know,
So I don't get it.
well, you don't listen to me.
That is
If
true.
you did, you would talk to your wife the other day.